What's up, baseball players? I'm Coach Dan Blewett. In today's video, let's talk about when, as a catcher, should you go out and visit the mound to talk to your pitcher. All right, so if you're new here, I'm Coach Dan. I'm a former pro pitcher. In the description below, you'll find my email list where over 5,000 people get my new video updates. You get my checklists, all my best pitching resources for free, my courses, my books, all that stuff. So I'm glad you're here. And in today's video, we're going to talk about for catchers, when should you visit the mound? This is an important thing, and it takes some sort of like emotional intelligence. So let's talk through some of the instances when it makes sense to visit. All right, so number one, bad body language. When you see bad body language that's tethered to the performance of the pitcher, so he just gave up a couple runs, just gave up a hard hit, just gave a home run, just walked another batter, and you see the shoulders droop, you see the head roll, you see all that sort of stuff, that's a good time to go out and visit if your pitching coach isn't already. That's one thing I look for as a coach. When I see my player is mentally in a bad, like a visibly bad spot, like a visibly enough where he's going to show his bad body language to the world, that's a good time to go have a talk and try to get them back on track. So bad body language is a great one to go out there and talk about their performance and just get them back into the game. All right, the next one is if you detect a consistent miss pattern. So especially for pitchers, this could be everything up. That's a very common one. Everything to their arm side, that's another very common one. So when you see a pitcher consistently miss, like he walks a batter one way, then walks a batter the next way, then he's falling behind consistently because everything is like eye level, or he's just hanging everything. If you see a consistent miss pattern, that's a really good time to go out there and talk to them, especially if you as a catcher have a little bit of a clue about mechanics and what they're doing wrong to maybe correct that. So little things like, hey, look down your shoulder longer. Hey, stay closed a little longer. Hey, you look like you're rushing. Those things are typically what's going to account for a consistent miss pattern. So if you detect that consistent miss pattern, go out there and try to clean it up. Because a lot of times the pitcher is going to be frustrated, or he's going to be in his head, or he's just not going to know what to do. And that's why it's gone on for 2, 3, or 4 batters. And so it's up to somebody else, the catcher or the pitcher, to help snap them, give them something to try to fix that miss pattern so they can get back on track and throw strikes. The next thing is a tempo change. If you see the pitcher start to rush, if you see him start to move a little bit faster around the mound, it's not like even their delivery in general, but they just start to look a little more frantic and mentally sped up, or if they start to slow down, like say they're sinking in their back leg too much, or their pace just changes. Just look for any tempo or pace change. Again, whether it's their mechanics or their movements around the mound in general. Those are good indications that something's going on. They're flustered, they're mentally upset, whatever it is. But any tempo change is cause for alarm. And if you spot one, go out there, talk to them, see what's going on. All right, the next one is give them a break if it's just a really long inning, especially if it's a hot day out. I've seen this in amateur baseball, and I could not for the life of me understand how a pitcher on an opposing team is out there for 40 pitches while my team's shelling them, and no one goes out to break up the inning. The pitching coach doesn't go out, the head coach doesn't go out, the catcher doesn't go out. This poor pitcher just throws 40 pitches in a row or 30 pitches in a row, and is just getting creamed, and no one thinks to just like give him a breather. Sometimes, the pitcher's going to just pretty much take the ball and just keep going if he's a competitor, but sometimes they just need someone to go out there and break up, the other team's momentum and the pitcher's own bad momentum. Or it's just super hot, it's 95 degrees, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just going to go out there and give the kid a 15-second breather. Go out there and just talk about nothing until the umpire breaks you up and gets you back in. Those things are important. So especially if it's been like single, go out there and just break up the other team's momentum. Make the next batter wait. Give the pitcher a chance to regroup. Break up a bad, long inning. It's a really important thing. It's one of the simplest things you can do to help a pitcher out of a bad spot. The next thing is strategy. Say this hitter that's coming up is maybe going to bunt. Go up there and let him know that if you're afraid that he's going to forget it. Or say this hitter's already hit 2 doubles and you're afraid that if you approach him the same way you did last time, he's going to hit a 3rd double. So go out there and be like, hey, remember, this guy's got really fast hands. He likes hitting fastballs, on the outer half. We're going to pitch him in this time. Just go out there and just reiterate. Don't always assume that the pitcher knows what you know. Just because you know it doesn't mean he saw the same thing. You have 2 different vantage points and you need to work together as a battery to get through this game. So if you have a moment and you're not sure, just hustle out there, say, hey, we got to make sure this guy can't steal second. I just want to make sure you got to hold this guy on in this situation because he cannot steal. We've got to keep him close if we want any chance to win this game. Then hustle right back and get back to it. So typically those strategy meetings are quick in, quick out, share the tidbit of info that you need and get back to the plate. The next thing, and this is just sort of going back to the strategy, say this is just a tough hitter and he's beaten your pitcher twice. You might just want to hustle out there and be like, hey, look, I know this guy got us last time, but what do you think about this sequence? And you got it, man. It could just be a confidence thing. If you're afraid that this is a pitcher who gets down on himself easy, then go out there and give him a little pep talk every now and again. It doesn't have to be about anything he's done wrong. Just be like, hey, we got this guy. I'm ready to stick it to him. We get to 2 strikes and you throw that nasty slider that you've got. We're going to bury this guy. Let's do it. Sometimes those rah-rah kind of catching moments are important and they get you psyched up. You're like, yeah, all right, I can see that. Let's get ahead. Then I'm going to get to that slide and then boom, I'm going to punch this guy out. He beat me last time, but he's not going to beat me this time. So if that's in your personality and the pitcher you think might benefit from that, then go out there and give them just a little shot of confidence. And the last thing, just administrative things. So if a new pitcher enters the game and you're not sure what he throws, or you want to make sure you're on the same page with signs, or you're afraid he's tipping pitches, maybe he's doing something that's telegraphing something that he's throwing. I'll put in the link in the description below about my video on tipping pitches. So this is important for catchers to know as well. Any of those administrative things, make sure you're on the same page. Make sure he knows the signs. Make sure he knows the signs when there's a runner on second base. All that sort of stuff. Don't take it for granted that everything's hunky-dory, and then lo and behold, guy gets on second, you're a little uncertain, you think he's throwing you a curveball, he throws you a fastball, and it goes right past your ear to the backstop. So if you need to do that, if you need to take that extra second as soon as he comes in the game with a new reliever, go out there, be waiting for him, be like, hey, just a reminder, with a runner on second, it's third sign. If you shake, we go to the second sign, whatever it is. You get that administrative stuff out of the way if you can. Hopefully you take care of that in the dugout. You don't have to do that in the game, but if there's any inkling that you might not both be on the same page, go out there and take care of it before it ends up costing your team in the game. All right, so when should you not visit? Number 1, do not visit the mound if they're just cruising along. That will really piss a pitcher off, especially if he's a competitive guy. If you're just running out there for no good reason, this didn't really need to be shared, we could have talked about this in the dugout, stay behind the plate. If a pitcher is cruising along, just like I talked about breaking up a bad inning where the other team's got a good rhythm going, don't break up your pitcher's rhythm if he's cruising along. And you'll know this, you'll feel it. He's just getting the ball, throw it, and he's pounding the strike zone, getting guys out. Don't break up good momentum. Number 2, if they don't like visits from you, I did not like visits from catchers. Unless you had something very specific and important to tell me, I wanted you to shut up and stay behind the plate. It's not to say we weren't friends, but don't come out here because I'm going to be pissed off and I'm just going to send you right back. If I'm not really wanting to hear from you, it's not going to go well. So you have to know the personality of the pitcher. So obviously, I respected my fellow players, but when I'm out there and I'm in aggressive, competitive, Dan's, pitching for blood mode, don't come out here. So again, make sure you know the personality of your pitcher. Sometimes pitchers like a lot of visits. Sometimes they do not. And so you don't want to step on their toes and get them too high or too low, because that's part of your job as a catcher, is to regulate the pitcher's emotions. If you see him get really hot or really cold, meaning really aggressive and angry, or really kind of sad and sulky and disappointed, you want to try to get him back to the middle. But you can put him into the red zone by pissing him off by going out there for a visit that he doesn't want. So just be careful and know your pitchers. And lastly, if you're brand new and you're new to the team and you don't have a good rapport, just tread lightly. So if you don't know me as a pitcher, and you don't know that I don't want to do a lot of mound visits, I don't want to do any mound visits if possible, then you should probably just tread lightly, start to just, build a friendship, build a rapport in the dugout between games, so you figure out and ask questions. If you don't know a pitcher very well, talk to them in the dugout. Ask them what they like. Do you want me to come out? If I see something mechanically, is it okay if I come out and tell you? You don't have to ask permission for everything, but it's better not to figure some of this stuff out during a game in a tense moment where you accidentally piss off your pitcher or whatever, when that could have been discussed in the bullpen before a game or in some downtime or whatever. So just remember, it's not about you as a catcher. You're essentially supposed to be invisible, and the only times that you're going out there is to help fix things and make them better. So don't make it about you, being visible by having all these mound visits. There are sometimes catchers who make tons of mound visits and there isn't a good reason for them. Don't make it about you. Make it part of your craft to correct the pitcher when he needs something from you. But other than that, tread as lightly as you can and be as invisible as you can. Just do your job and he'll do his. But again, knowing your pitcher is a really big part of this, and that comes from building rapport in the bullpen, talking to them in the dugout, and just, being friends sort of off the field. All right. So hopefully today's video was helpful. This is definitely a big baseball IQ item. Coaches notice this. Coaches appreciate this. So if you're on the recruiting trail, you're a college, you're a high school, you're a high school player or you're a college player hoping to get drafted, scouts are watching this. They're saying, can this guy control a pitching staff? Can he manage a pitching staff? Can he help make his pitchers better? They're going to ask the coaching staff those same questions when they're going through their pre-draft checklist. They're going to talk to coach and say, how does he handle a pitching staff? So these things are important. So the more you can be watching and observing and using, again, your emotional intelligence to make your staff better, that gives you intangible value that can keep you on the field, even if maybe your batting average isn't as high as it is, or your arm's not quite as strong as other catchers. When they say this guy he makes our pitching staff better, helps us win games that way, that's something that's going to really pay off in your career as a catcher. All right. So thanks again for watching. I'm Coach Dan Blewett. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I respond to almost all of them, and I will see you here in the next video.